What is the most terrifying creation across the entire Armored Core franchise? That's a question many people have come to wonder. Could it be Generation 1 with the Justice Cannon on the moon, or maybe even Nine Ball Seraph, who strikes fear in the heart of most players? Maybe it could be, say, what's it good? Ah, yes, Deimos from Armored Core 2, considering that's, or Phobos, one of those. Could be a giant moon careening in towards the planet. Maybe it's the Silent Line satellite system from 3. Or Generation 3, yeah, you get what I mean. Maybe it's the Pulverizers from Last Raven. Or if you're a more recent fan, maybe you'd imagine it would be, say, the Coral Weapons, or maybe even All Minds boss fight at the end of Aelia Iacta S. Well, I'm here to tell you all those answers are wrong, and for good measure. In the 4th generation of Armored Core, there is a boss that most people don't really often bring up in terms of this discussion because they're all in favor of, say, the Nexts. Unfortunately, in forgetting about everything else in favor of the Nexts, they have also forgotten about the true horror of Generation 4. The Arms Forts. Or more specifically, one particular Arms Fort.
This is Maximilian Thermidor. Your target is Answerer, a high-tech arms fort manufactured by the Interior Union in Omer. The Answerer is bristling with the latest Kojima arms tech. It is considerably stronger than other arms forts you might have encountered. It's a deadly foe. The battle will be hard, but if you are successful, we will move right into the final phase of the closed plan. Maltzel and I agree. You're the only one who can pull this off. This is the end game. We're counting on you.
Commence mission. Destroy the Arms Fort Answerer. They must be using a massive amount of energy to keep this thing closed. Start your attack run now. Hit it wherever you can. Destroy the outer shell. It won't hold up too long. We can bring this thing back down to Earth. High-density Kojima particles detected throughout the combat zone. Your primal armor is useless. They've stripped us naked. These things, they're off the charts. It's not even an enclosed area. AP down 40%. Combat damage at 70%. Not much longer now. The Answerer is plummeting. Watch out! Confirmed. The Answerer has been destroyed. Mission complete. So, this is the beginning of the end. You think it'll be easy?
The World Guard have acquiesced. Now we just need to face the wretches headed for Big Box and take control of Arteria Cranium. Then the first phase of the closed plan will be complete. The You handle the cranium. I'll look after big box. You? Can you handle that? Remember, Wendy Fancher will probably be leading their forces. That may be. I might not come back. But we'll all have to die sometime.
So what you just witnessed was the Arms Fort Answerer, which I personally find to be one of the more terrifying creations of the Armored Core franchise. And for good reason. Yes, I know I destroyed it within around a minute and a half, but even as you saw, that was still to considerable damage to my next. Now, let's go over exactly what makes that arguably the scariest fucking thing of the franchise. Now, the normal next is a very limited weapon. Granted, it's fast as hell, and frankly, that alone should make it basically unstoppable since you can go in any direction without the pilot having to worry about the G-forces, which would normally rip a normal human apart. But the Answerer, as you saw, has a kind of ring of wings around it that give it full area coverage with lasers that basically kill anyone who's foolish enough to try and go for the core. But then again, going for the core already is the equivalent of suicide because, well, it has assault armor.
High-density Kojima particles detected throughout the combat.
That alone is already terrifying given the context, meaning it can detonate all the particles around it and basically turn itself into a giant nuke. But worse in the context of For Answer because, well, assault armor in of itself, while yes, it's the equivalent of doing a suicide bomb, it doesn't exactly leave either person crippled as long as they both know to get out of the blast radius and get away from each other, or if they're crazy enough, pursue each other, using the lack of primal armor as time to get more hits in. This normally leaves whoever used the assault armor with about, I want to say, 20-second cooldown before they can use assault armor again. Namely because it just eats through all their primal armor, so it leaves them more or less defenseless. But the Answerer doesn't seem to follow that restriction as much. So, for example, let me save this. Now then, let's get who's a good candidate. White Glint. Now, White Glint is one of the more prominent examples of an assault armor user. So let's take him up against an AC and see how long it takes for his primal armor to recharge after use. As you can see, White Glint can use his armor fairly frequently. Now, let's face the Answerer again and see how long it takes it. to use its assault armor. Also, as you can see, despite the fact that White has maxed out primal armor output, it still completely eats through it. So let's... Now, yes, the Answerer does have ample time before it fires off its assault armor, which gives the cowering next plenty of time to hide behind one of its wings for cover. That still doesn't stop it from being a threat. It bug? Huh. Should have gone off by now. Oh, that's right. If you destroy the crystals, then it destroys the destroys the assault armor. Oh, what thought it would take more than that. Well, as you can see, the lasers made up for it. Alright, now we trigger it again to get a more accurate result because I'm not sure what happened there. With Kojima missiles. If I had to get those are the Bismuth Kojima missiles, which are very nasty. Now then. And see, it's almost immediately attacking again with primal armor, or assault armor. Despite the fact that it's barely been 10 or so seconds, it's going for the attack again. Did it? Oh, it glitched again. Huh. Is it really that easy to disable it? Oh, third time's a charm. Or can I disable it before it even starts? Nope. What is it that keeps stopping it from going off? It's genuinely confusing me. What the fuck? Huh. This thing is being really inconsistent. What the fuck? Well, as you can see, not even the fearsome White Glint with his maxed out primal armor ratification can do a damn thing to stop it. Then again, White Glint has been shown to have troubles with armed forts if the intro of For Answer is anything to go by. Now, why is this terrifying in the context of For Answer? We already have Nexts. And the subtle hints of terror mostly come from the lore of the Kojima particles and how the fact that the Answer is able to emit so much that it can not only strip away primal armor within seconds, but it can also constantly emit such high volumes of Kojima particles that it can basically fucking melt an AC just for getting near it. That is the Armored Core equivalent of heading into a room in an RPG that constantly does fire damage, and you can't do anything to stop it. It is genuinely terrifying in the context of For Answer, because we also know that, well, Kojima particles don't exactly have the greatest tendency to leave. Meaning, more or less, the moment that thing was fired up, that area is going to be a Kojima-infested hellhole, kind of like the glowing sea from Fallout 4. Except, unlike the glowing sea from Fallout 4, the radiation isn't going to diminish, so nothing could really live or adapt because the cellular decay alone from the particles would basically kill anything that gets nearby. Because if memory serves me correctly from something I read about the Kojima particles, is that they also have a tendency to corrode any and everything nearby that isn't the highly resistant alloy that the Nexus use. Which is an issue when said highly resistant alloy is also being melted just by being near it. Which is basically the equivalent of like having fire resistant armor in like Monster Hunter or something, and you still get completely destroyed by a fire monster. Like, that is the level of intolerability that the answer is capable of producing. And the only reason we were able to take it out is because in the lore, Strayed is more or less an irregular next pilot, meaning they're kind of like, I want to say, the Dominants from Last Raven, where they're just people who are genuinely built different. Because they were able to, supposedly lore-wise, take out the Spirit of Motherwill when even White Glint couldn't. And White Glint, as we know, is the protagonist of Armored Core 4, who was able to take on the Aretha model with some difficulty. So this means that without Strayed being effectively an anomaly within the Lynx's ranks, that means technically nobody in For Answer would have stood a chance against the Answerer as a whole, because think if the anomaly pilot was struggling against it, and they're the ones who have taken down impossible giants that other Lynxes have considered damn near unkillable, then exactly how dangerous is the Answer if Strayed wasn't around to deal with it? Because Kojima weaponry within the context of For Answer, specifically For Answer because it was more or less still in development during 4, is more refined to the point where they have developed such strong Kojima weaponry that it can effectively kill someone in a single hit if concentrated highly enough. Cough cough Hydor Agiros. And Lethal Dose, if I remember correctly. Effectively, Kojima weaponry will make all Nexts just crumble before them due to their insanely high density of particles that completely ignore primal armor. Even then, even if we're taking primal armor into account, the answer doesn't take it into account because, well, just by being near it, it completely strips the Next of arguably its most important defensive aspect. Because without a primal armor to keep them safe, Nexts are more or less rather defenseless. Like, in terms compared to the older ACs in the series, a Next can't really take as much punishment. Like, look here, despite using 2 rifles, I am melting Thermidor. Like, these things cannot take a beating. But the Answer effectively looks at them and says, you're going to get your beating whether you like it or not, and you're going to take it on the chin, because I said no. And not to mention, there's also the fact that, well, aside from just the primal armor alone, well, it has missiles, it has lasers. It basically makes getting close to this thing and leaving unscathed effectively impossible, which, I mean, as you already see, is just hurting me by approaching it. The Answerer effectively will always make sure to leave a scar from when you fought it. no matter what you do, you're not going to hurt it without it hurting you. If anything, I don't really think conventional weaponry can hurt this thing. Like, I am unloading missiles into this wing. It is not doing anything to it. Like I've just pumped, like, maybe 30 missiles into this thing. These are split missiles, so that's a whole package. And it can't even take out a single wing. Get into cover under here. Like, okay, I think I destroyed some of the crystals, but that's a 50R mag. Like, look at my damage numbers here. I am pumping in so much into this singular wing, and I'm not doing anything to it. Remember, while this is happening, it's still stripping away my health. Like, this is just being solid continuous fire. I have not stopped at minus the reloading, and this wing still hasn't been destroyed yet. So, how fucking strong is this that the only way you can hurt it is by getting up close and basically being forced to use a laser blade to even take off a wing because, well, fuck me, I've dumped all of my rifle ammo into this singular wing, and it still isn't broken. Like, unless I start shooting the crystals, but I doubt I have the AP to have. Can I keep shooting the crystals? Okay, I can keep shooting the crystals, so that does damage to it. But I think it's gonna be enough to destroy it, even from my little safe spot here. Can I get this thing down in time? I think I might be able to destroy this before its primal armor eats away at me. Nope. Alright, let's try going straight for the crystals instead of wasting time on the wing. Oh yeah, and as you can see at a certain point, there is a sort of epicenter you can't even pass without it completely eating up your bullets and just negating your attacks. So if you want to hurt this thing, you have to get into the danger range, which, well, considering what this thing does, everything is the danger range, basically. So you either stay down here, where you have cover from the missiles, but have to contend with the wing lasers and the assault armor, or you go up there where you contend with the missiles, the occasional stray wing laser, but you're safe from the assault armor. For the most part. Yeah, as you can see, this thing has no qualms about ripping me to shreds. Which is frankly kind of insane. Actually, I don't even think shaving out the crystals would be enough to stop it either. Yeah, so rifles don't do anything to it at all. Going after the giant fuck all crystals don't hurt it either. Meaning, you're basically kind of required to go up close and personal with a laser blade and basically try to do more damage to it than it can do to you. Which is saying something, considering the fact that half the time you're going to have to be dodging in between all of its missile salvos. And considering it has 3 VML platforms, that's going to be a lot to contend with. And once again, without Strayed being basically the insane monster that they are, more or less, I don't really think any member of Orca could handle the Answerer as they are. Because none of them really have the weaponry to do so. Let's look at Orkans. Thermidor, no melee, so not gonna do enough damage. What's this guy? Gattrand. Yeah, he might be. No, you need Primal Armor to use the Kojima cannons, which this thing strips you of, so he can't even use the Kojima cannons. Astrim might be able. Let's. Yeah. Yeah, screw it. Julius might be able to with the laser blade. Potentially. Bolt King, most likely not the slightest. Shinkai. Play really aggressively with that Moonlight, and I'd say he has a chance. Walzel, good luck getting off the ground. Same thing with this one as well. Assuming Kamisi moves fast, and just again hits him with that Dragon Slayer, I don't really see his chances considering he's using the sombrero, or actually just a lot of the weak core parts. Same thing for PQ. Don't really see Bubba getting anywhere. Yeah, a lot of the Orca members would not be able to stop Answer if they hadn't recruited Stray to the cause. Maybe Windy might have been able to, but if I remember correctly, I think by the end of For Answer, I think it's just her and Roy. So even then, I really doubt she would have lasted long at all. Because let's see how critical, how crippling it leaves my poor Alia in during engagement. Mind you, I'm using the Moonlight because it does the most damage out of all the laser blades, as it should. And as you can see, even with a Sombrero generator, there's still going to be that one instance where it catches you with your pants down, and the salvo shreds your AP. So it left me with about half of my initial AP, so assuming you have an Alia with a damn strong laser blade, you might stand a particular chance, as long as you move fast. But if we're looking at within the world of For Answer and its nexts, more likely than not, those pilots were dead the moment they entered the area. But I guess if you want to look at it this way, that would technically mean Strayed is arguably the more dangerous of all the options here, considering they were able to take on the Answer and survive. But then again, I guess that comes at the cost of being kind of regular, and the fact that Strayed is going to most likely suffer very heavy radiation poisoning and will most likely never see the light of day again. Because, I mean, come on, how are you going to fight that and not come out looking like Chernobyl? Who knows, maybe Straight did end up dying on at Arteria Cranium.